I recently had an amazing opportunity to hang out with Bill Duran of Punished Props, and we made a freaking Deku shield, and it was a very glorious moment, and I could talk about that forever. But anyway, I wanted to make a fun, like, behind the scenes video of what I learned as someone who is probably, I'm a creative person, but I'm not a crafty person. There's a huge difference, and there's a joke in the family that I got all of my dad's creative skills, which are like none. Again, my mom kept all the skills to herself because she's very artsy and creative. So yes, you should know that I am not a creative person, and I've also admired and respected cosplay. I've always thought it's like a beautiful art, and it's always been hard for me to even consider doing cosplay and making props because I generally work these conventions, and by work I mean I am a member of the media. So I play the games and I review them and I report back to you guys. So it probably wouldn't be a very good look if I showed up in a full plate of armor, you know, and to ask to demo someone's game. So it's just been something tricky, but something I've always admired and kind of wanted to do. And Bill was kind enough to extend out an invite and invite me over to come over to his amazing shop and meet his amazing wife and see his amazing house and meet his amazing cats and bestow his amazing talents upon me. So yeah, let's talk about some of the things that I have learned from spending a day with what I think is one of the top cosplayers, top prop makers ever. One of the most important things I learned from this entire experience is that cosplay / prop making is a very accessible thing. You know, when you're not crafty like I am, and you see people walking around these elaborate costumes, you know they put a lot of time and effort into it, but you don't even begin to fathom how they even created it. And we made the Deku shield with foam, a Dremel, an evil dentist looking tool, and a sander and some glue and some paint. Like, that's and sharp objects, and I'll talk about those in a minute. But that's all it took.
Oh, there we go. The idea is that we need a strip of nice, clean, smooth foam where we're going to glue it around the edge. Okay. This lab machine is going to sand the texture off. Okay. I'll show you. Okay. Then you can give it a try. Sure. All right. Ready? Good. Maybe not push down so hard. Ah, yes. Ah! Okay. Hey.
It wants to go.
It really does. There we go.
Oh, God.
Awesome.
Yay! What I really took away from this whole experience was that it's more of a matter of just learning the techniques and learning the tools you need, and then just honing your skill. And I know that's probably a very obvious statement, but now that I've actually learned, I only need a few tools and some foam and some paint, it's like, oh, this is totally doable. You can manipulate the items, and a lot of trial and error, I'm sure, has to go into it. So I walked away very encouraged and feeling very like positive and having a good outlook on it, because I feel like it's something that if I ever had the free time, I could totally do myself. And that was really cool. I definitely was not expecting that. So thank you so much, Bill. And on that note, if making cosplay is something that you are interested in, Bill and his wife often stream, and they post great tutorials on how they make things. And I think what was really helpful for me was actually watching someone do it and actually going hands-on. And granted, Bill isn't always available to go like teach me everything, but I definitely will start paying attention to his streams and his videos. It just teaches you buttloads. So that's how I would get started if I were you. Just like watch his stuff. It's like, oh, that makes so much sense. That was like the theme of my day with him was, it makes sense. That's how you do it. Oh my God, ah! The second thing I learned, reminded of, was that I still cannot use sharp objects, and I am not to be trusted around them. Roll the footage. Has there ever been a blood on your channel before? That's probably gonna change.
No.
That was a long-standing joke with my family and I, that I am not allowed near sharp objects.
Oh.
I'm a little careless around them, so
I feel like this should have been talked about before we did this.
And, I like to keep things exciting and fresh.
So why don't you give it a go? I'll make sure this is sharp, and you can cut from there to there.
Okay.
The sharper it is, the better, and the safer. Actually, let's grab a chunk of foam as sort of practice. So if you keep the blade on the mat and then pull through, it'll be a nice clean cut all the way through. You got it.
This is good.
All right.
This is
Band-aids are right there, so we're good. Fix it later.
I told you I can't follow lines. I barely passed.
This is an artistic interpretation of the.
You're too kind.
DQ shield.
You're too kind. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Look, going all the way through.
Yay.
So you can just.
How did I do, senpai?
Great.
Thank you.
All right, your turn. So just lay it flat and trim the thing.
It's organic. So I'm telling myself. Am I holding it right? Is this the right way?
Nope.
See, I told you. Ha!
Aha!
All right.
This is a sharpened tube, piece of metal, and you can poke it into a piece of foam and just twist it.
So the tube goes in the middle. You can do this, right?
Flip it around.
Flip it this way?
Sharp side, yeah. That's a pretty common theme today.
I told you I'm not allowed sharp objects.
Just using the dull side of everything.
The third thing I learned, and this is getting its own freaking point because it freaking blew my mind, was that armor, the armor that you see people wearing around and the props that you see people holding, like most of the time, not all, but most of the time, it's freaking light because it's made out of freaking foam. It's just a testament to how amazing cosplayer people can make their props and armor look with like textures and techniques, and they make it look like full-fledged metal armor or dinged up or something. So when I was rocking the freaking Commander Shepard armor, I was expecting me to be like way down, but it was foam or whatever. It was foamy, it was light. That just blows my mind. I mean, now it's kind of a duh thing, but you know, I'm sure there are some of you out there who did not know this. Now you do. The fourth thing I learned is that the cosplay community seems really fucking fun. Like really close and tight-knit, and it just seems like I was being shown footage of Dragon Con and from Bill and Britt who are going to it. I think that's actually, well, by the time you're watching this, it would be last weekend or whatever. But just watching the video and watching people like just appreciate each other's costumes, appreciate their work of art, it was really, it gave me the warm and fuzzies because it's just like, oh my god, like you just had, how fun must it be to build these amazing costumes, and even if they're not amazing, the fact that you put all this effort into something that you're wearing, and everyone I think appreciates that fact anyway, to basically play dress up with some of your closest friends and just drink in a hotel lobby, like they were just showing me footage, and it just looked like a huge party, and I was like, I want to be a part of that. I want to wear a costume or a cosplay and be a freaking warrior from something. I don't know what. It just, I got the yearns to be a part of that. And you know, I know as someone who's very involved in the video game industry that every industry, every niche has its sour apples and has its people that you kind of wish weren't really in there just because they're kind of a negative thing. But from what I've been shown by Britt and Bill and just kind of in general, like what sweet, kind people, and they're usually very passionate and willing to help you, and that's kind of what I've learned from all the cosplayers I've interacted with. So like props to you guys. From an outsider looking in, your community looks awesome. The fifth thing I learned, and even though this isn't super surprising, I have to bring it up anyway, is that, you know, wearing cosplay is an amazing feeling. I mean, I was wearing Bill's creations, and I felt like a complete and total badass. I wanted to walk around all of Seattle wearing the costumes, and because I felt so filled with like pride and joy and like awesomeness. And so I can only imagine what it must feel like to work so hard on a costume and actually don it and wear it out to convention, to get compliments on it and get people who want to take photos of it. And like, that's your work. That's what you've been putting your blood, sweat, and tears in for so long. And now you get to parade it around to the whole world. And that must be a very, very rewarding feeling. And I hope someday I can experience that. Yeah, that would be awesome. So yeah, I totally get the passion that cosplayers have for the work. I mean, like I said, it wasn't even my stuff, but I still felt like super like protective and like badass, like an unstoppable meteorite. What? That makes sense. Weird. That doesn't really make sense. And anyway, another point to that is that it's really fun to dress up. Like, anyway, here's some more footage so you can you'll understand. So, I've never worn a tabard before.
Okay. I'm learning all these.
It's like, no girls like want to spin when they're wearing dresses. I want to spin wearing a tabard.
Okay, this goes over your head.
Yes.
Like that. But your shoulders are not quite as broad as mine. Okay. This arm kind of just...
Sweet!
goes...
I don't think you understand this is what I've been waiting for my whole life. I think this is what I was meant to do. Just wear armor.
Hand goes in there.
This is so excuse me. This is so amazing.
There you go. Alright.
Okay.
The gun's outside.
Okay. This is so cool. Oh my god. This is happening. I'm like all of my favorite IPs in one right now. This is Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite YouTube channel on the Citadel. I want to give another huge shout out to Bill of Punished Props again for allowing me to come over, infiltrate like his home base, and get my grubby hands on everything. I had an absolutely amazing time, and I know, Bill, if you're watching this, I know that we have plans to work on something else. We just haven't figured out what that thing is yet, but we're gonna do it because I am completely sold. Also, you guys, there is a video of Bill and I making the Deku shield, and I will link to that below. I put a link earlier in the video, but in case you missed it because you're so mesmerized by my weirdness, you may have missed it. So link will be down below, and give the video a watch because it was really fun. I had an amazing time, and you can and you will learn a lot if you're like me and you're like, I don't know how to do this. Well, now you will, and you can do it. Trust me, if I can do it, you can do it. Just be careful with the sharp objects. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.